The race continues to tighten with Rick Perry out and Newt Gingrich just 10 points behind Mitt Romney. That's according to the latest NBC poll. Joining us right now is Governor Bob McDonnell of Virginia. And Governor, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me back on Squawk Box.
Well, it's great to have you here. And we're very pleased to have you here on this day when you are choosing the candidate you're going to be supporting. Mitt Romney is getting your support?
I am. I'm announcing today I'll be the governor in South Carolina later on today. But I've decided to support Mitt Romney. I think he's a results-oriented conservative. I think he's the best leader to get America back on track, to create jobs, to get this national debt under control. And I'm delighted to be supporting Mitt Romney.
What pushed your decision? Was it the debate performance last night, or had you been leaning this way for some time?
Well, I've been watching the race course for a long time. I've said for months and months that I think a governor or former governor would be the best person to be the president of the United States. When I look at the lack of leadership out of this administration, and I look at the key issues in the race, which is creating jobs, doing something about this horrific national debt, and having a strong leader who will turn America around and regain our confidence around the world, Mitt Romney is clearly that guy. Marvelous record in a blue state, great private sector experience in creating jobs, and has been an optimistic, results-oriented conservative, and that's why it's time now for me to get involved. It's a Southern primary. I'm a Southern governor, and I thought I could help the governor by coming out today. Last
night in the debate, many pundits are saying that Newt Gingrich emerged as the big winner, that he came out on top. And if you look at a lot of these polls, it is showing a very close, almost a dead heat in some polls between Gingrich and Romney. How important is the South Carolina primary?
Well, they're all important. Governor Romney has won the first two, subject to a recount, of course, in Iowa, but I think he's got steady momentum. A lot of candidates have been up and down in this race. Mitt Romney has been the one who has been steady and garnering support. Look, we've got great candidates in the race. Any one of them would be better than President Obama in being a strong leader, creating jobs, and getting our debt under control. But Mitt Romney's got a proven record. He's a results-oriented conservative, and he's got the record of creating jobs, 120,000 jobs in the private sector. He was able to cut spending, get budgets under control, and balanced in Massachusetts. And so he's got the proven record of getting things done. He's the best candidate for America, and that's why I'm supporting him.
Governor, when you go down to South Carolina today, what's your message going to be to those voters who are still on the fence, who are still trying to decide which way they're going to go?
My message would be, if you want to win the race in November, vote for Mitt Romney. He's the best candidate that we've got to beat President Obama. He will do the best job going toe-to-toe with President Obama in debates on the issues that matter to Americans, particularly independent voters. Jobs, fiscal responsibility, and someone who's been a strong leader and has a proven record in a blue state. He can win Democrats and independents over to our cause by sticking to his principles. So that's going to be my message. I'm a strong fiscal and social conservative. I'm a veteran, and I think that for people that have those that support our military, that support the traditional values that this country was based on, Mitt Romney is the guy that will defend those values in Washington.
Governor, how do you believe Romney should address the private equity issue? He has yet to fully embrace a full-throated defense of Bain, and I'm curious if you had advice for him, what you would suggest.
Well, I don't think we should have to defend the model of success and pursuing the American dream in America. I think the President Obama's attacks on Mitt Romney on this are just outrageous. We ought to celebrate success. People like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Mitt Romney and countless others who have worked hard and made good decisions, taken risks, and used their God-given talents to pursue the American dream. We ought to celebrate that and not punish success. It's just the opposite view out of this administration, where they want to soak the rich and tax wealthy people more and punish people who have been successful. Talking down to Wall Street, that's not the formula for success. And I don't think we should have to defend people who have been successful. We want more people who can make it in America and do well and have to depend less on government. That's what America's all about.
Do you think that Romney's going to have to give a better explanation to the broader public about what private equity is and what his role was within Bain so that the public understands what it is? He has yet to do that.
Well, I think he's done pretty well saying, look, because we have risked capital and helped companies grow, that we've created 100,000 jobs. But you know what? In America, we believe that there's a freedom to succeed and fail. Businesses do that all the time, but on balance, Bain Capital, with his leadership, as well as his leadership of the Olympics, have been very successful. And I think that this is the heart and soul of what America stands for, the opportunity to succeed. We don't make guarantees. We give you the opportunity to do well in America. That's what he should say.
Governor, our guest host today is the celebrated economist John Taylor, and he has a question for you as well.
Okay. Governor, your economic record in Virginia is a good one. What kind of lessons do you get from that at the national level? What are the things that you can most easily apply quickly, because we need it?
Well, thanks, John. I mean, we've been fortunate in Virginia. We've got our unemployment rate down to 6.2%. We've had $1 billion in surpluses the last 2 years. But, the formula's pretty simple. You keep your taxes and regulation and your litigation low. You keep strong right-to-work laws. You promote great universities, but you live within your means. That's what Washington is broke on. That's why President Obama needs to be replaced. He's for more spending, more stimulus. That's the wrong formula. Spend within your means, just like families and businesses are doing. And Mitt Romney gets that, and that's why I'm supporting him, and that's the successful formula for America.
You've got poll numbers that most politicians would kill for. Your latest approval ratings were 57% versus a 21% negative approval rating. And my question is, how have you been able to do that? Is it because of what you just talked about with the budget surplus and with the unemployment levels there versus the national unemployment figures?
I think what it is you got to tone the rhetoric down. What we have in Washington is we have a surplus of rhetoric and a deficit of results. People want to see people get things done. We want solutions, not sound bites. And that's what I've tried to do with Republicans and Democrats, is turn the partisanship down and focus on solving problems, whether it's the budget or energy or transportation or higher education. Let's work together and find solutions. And people have responded to that. And I'm blessed to have a great cabinet, a great team, and find ways to get people to work together, because we have people hurting in America with this high unemployment rate, 35 months in a row, over 8% with President Obama. We need a job creator like Mitt Romney to be president. And so, that's what I've done in Virginia. Mitt Romney will do the same thing for America.
You're lucky it's going well in Virginia, I guess, Governor. You look at, there's a great piece in the Journal today, op-ed pages about the Greece next door, talking about Illinois. I guess Moody's downgraded Illinois.
Yeah.
This is after Pat Quinn raised individual income taxes by 67%. He's the one guy. Remember, all these other governors got in. They all decided they're going to have to cut spending. Chris Christie or even Scott Walker. This guy went the other way.
Cuomo.
Not working at all. In fact, they had to downgrade it. In contrast to the Illinois downgrade, Moody's actually praised Scott Walker's budget as a credit positive for Wisconsin. The state's finances are closer to a structural bet. One guy's going to get recalled, or at least have to go through a recall election. You said you wanted it to be less partisan. It's only getting more partisan. And you can just see the harder, the more that a governor tries to get a state's finances in order, where you might have to do some spending cuts, it's almost impossible to cut spending for the constituents. This is the kind of backlash that you get. How'd you do it?
Well, that's very good points, which is why you need a battle-tested governor like Mitt Romney to make the tough decisions to get this crushing $15 trillion and growing national debt under control. Scott Walker's a gutsy guy. He made tough decisions.
You going to survive, Governor?
Oh, sure. We're going to be 100% behind him, the rest of us Republican governors.
There's going to be unions that are 100% against him, so there's going to be a lot of money spent there.
I understand that, but listen to the job creators, the entrepreneurs, and the average middle-class working family in Wisconsin that's working hard, paying taxes. They appreciate the fact that Scott Walker's cutting spending and making people live within the means. The successful Republican governors around the country who have done that, yeah, they've taken some short-term flack, but you know what? They're going to have long-term prosperity for their states, and they'll be rewarded in the long run.
He's the devil incarnate to some of our viewers, Governor. I just wonder how this country ever, gets closer to some consensus on these things.
Well, Governor, you talked just yourself about how you have had to work across the aisle and how you think that that's very important. Mitt Romney has shown in the past that he can work across the aisle. He did that as the governor of Massachusetts. But that is not necessarily what some of the other Republican candidates have been preaching. Do you think it's a dangerous road to go down if the nominee becomes one of these other Republicans who have said that they will not be working with the other side of the aisle in Washington?
Well, the nominee is going to be Mitt Romney, and I'm convinced of that. And it's another reason I'm strongly supporting him, because we got to get him into the position now to start the general election message about jobs and opportunity. But listen,
what would your message be to Republicans in Washington now? Because there is no bipartisanship in Washington at this point, and you can blame both sides of the aisle for that.
Well, you can, but you know what? When you're the leader of the free world, I say to President Obama, stop the rhetoric, stop blaming House Republicans and Tea Party and Wall Street and everybody else. Take responsibility, bring people together, and get things done. I mean, I had a Republican House and a Democratic Senate the first 2 years, and we were able to break down those barriers and get things done. It's a lot about the tone you set and whether you want to focus on taking credit and or assigning blame, or whether you really want to get things done. And Mitt Romney's done that in a blue state with a Democratic legislature, and he can go to Washington and do the same thing.
All right, Governor McDonnell, thank you very much for your time today.
Great to be on with you. Thanks.
Great to see you, and we'll be watching in South Carolina later today.